Hai semua, selamat datang ke podcast Kaki Bola dan saya Hazman Abdul Aziz, host anda untuk episod kali ini. Dan episod kali ini ia agak istimewa because kita ada bersama kita interim ataupun ketua jurulatih sementara pasukan nasional Singapura bersama kita. Tidak lain tidak bukan Coach Gavin Lee. Apa khabar Coach? How are you Coach?
Well, thank you.
So Coach, for this podcast, can we speak in Malay? Can you speak in Malay?
It won't be good for your podcast. Let's stick to English.
Okay, sure. Alright, so for this episode, we are gonna converse fully in English because our guest today is Coach Gavin. So, Coach, right to the start, we dive deep into your background. Most of the fans actually, you are a young coach. You are still in your early 30s, correct? And you have been in this line or in this coaching line for quite some time. So actually, if you want to get to know you more, how did you actually became a coach?
Yeah, I think my coaching journey, well, if we just go a little bit back, my football journey started quite young because my dad is a coach. He still is a coach. And so when I was, all I can remember when I was maybe 4 or 5 years old, I've been kicking a ball, right? And that was where the love for the game grew, and he brought me around to trainings. And I often say this to many people, like, potentially he unconsciously influenced me into this job, right? And when I reached a certain stage of my journey as a football player, then I realized, like, look, I'm never going to be as good as my teammates, the likes of Haris, Izwan and Gabriel and those guys. And at that point, I already started a little bit of coaching, helping my dad, and I was quite enjoying it. And I was like, yeah, why not give it a shot, you know? And so I just started doing more sessions. I was very fortunate that JSSL with Harvey, he opened the doors to let me pursue that coaching. And then I went to uni and decided to do a sports science degree to supplement the coaching. And then, then it's just a snowball from there, and then Tampines came along and here we are.
You mentioned you started off quite early. Was there any moment during your childhood days or teenage years that you see, okay, football as a player, maybe it's not for me, I should pursue as a coach? When did you have that moment?
No, it's a tough one. I don't think there was one particular moment where I decided, like, let's go to coaching. It was like a series of events, right? Over time, you experience something, then you enjoy the experience, and you see, like, oh, maybe I can be half decent with it. Then why not commit to it a little bit more and then test it out, because I went through the college system, the A levels, and then the university, so I had to do my papers, get my degree in anyway. And then during that time, I had the chance to experiment with even more coaching. And then after that, I was like, after uni, I was like, yeah, let's go at it full time, really. Or even during uni, I was going at it full time.
You mentioned your dad was a coach before. Okay, because I'm not a coach, so I don't know how the lifestyle of a coach is.
Yeah.
Does he, like, you mentioned he influenced you.
Yeah.
Does he bring home, like, his coaching work? Like, when at home, can you see that he was busy doing his paperwork, his plan, his tactics? Were that part of your experience last time?
He's not going to be happy. No, I didn't see him. But no, it was what he did on the pitch, and I think now looking back, it might be what I saw when I was a young boy, right? Like I saw that coaching meant a lot to him. It was very serious for him. He sacrificed time outside his day job to do it, and so probably it told me that coaching is quite important for him, and there must be a reason why, right? And probably now I'm just trying to connect the dots, and yeah, and the way he approached the job, or the way he approached coaching, probably shaped a lot of my values as well. Like, always be on time, never be late, and practice what you preach almost with your players, and so those values probably still carry on to today.
Amazing. Speaking about parents, you did your degree in NTU in sports science.
Yeah.
And also during that time you were coaching in GSSL.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
So, normal question people will ask: how did you manage to juggle both? Was it as tough as you want to juggle between a player and also being a player and also being a student and being a coach and a student? Yeah.
No, to be honest, I don't think I can answer the question about the balance of being a player and a student, or at least a professional player and a student, because I've never been one, right? My only experience was when I was growing up, having to manage the demands of being an NFA player back then, as well as doing my O levels and stuff like that, and I struggled. I guess I wasn't smart enough, or I wasn't good enough to do both.
But you had a degree.
Yeah. So, but again, it's on the flip side. I didn't succeed as a professional player. So if players who want to become players, they shouldn't listen to me, really, right? But it wasn't easy for me, that's for sure. But having said that, I think I had a good support system from with my school, Victoria School back then, and then obviously Coach Cardiff back then gave me a lot of support, gave me a lot of time to try to balance both. But eventually I made a decision and said, like, look, I can't do it, so. And then, but when I went to university, it was a little bit different context, because in school, secondary school and college, right, junior college, you are stuck with the schedule, right? The schedule is given to you, your class timetable and stuff like that. But when you go to uni, you choose your classes, you choose your timings, and so there was a lot more flexible, right? And then at the same time, the subjects you do in uni, you can choose, right? So me choosing to do sports science was in my interest. I really enjoyed it. So to be honest, when I went to uni, it was like quite an easy time, because when I was in class, I was doing things that I could relate to football. And yeah, but then when I was in O levels, A levels, I'm like,
you have to study that
binomial theorems and stuff like that. I'm like, how am I going to apply in the future, kind of thing, like so there wasn't a lot of meaning, and probably that's why I struggled a lot. But when I went to uni, it was a lot simpler, I would say. And so I could coach in the evenings. I was in school during the day, did my session planning and all during the breaks, and so it was good. It wasn't an easy time, because I was flying around the country in a sense, because NTU is on the west
from one side to another,
and then I was doing sessions at the east side, but yeah, it was a good time.
But as parents, how concerned were they when, because you mentioned you had to juggle between football and also studies during your younger days, how concerned were they? Were they like very supportive of you in whatever you choose, or how was it like?
Yeah, again, I'm quite lucky that my parents were quite supportive. I think as long as I enjoyed what I was doing, and I was doing it 100%, I think they had no issues with it.
Oh, okay.
Right. Yeah, because fortunately my coaching was okay. I was doing okay, and my academics, I wasn't a first class honors. I was close, but I wasn't a first class honors student, but it was still good enough. I think I finished with a second upper or something like that. But yeah, again, the degree is ultimately supplementing my coaching. That was how I viewed it. So eventually, like I told people, my pro license was probably more important to me than my sports science degree.
Right. Any lessons actually from that period, or specifically during NTU days? Any lessons from that time that actually it guides you till today? Are there any one aspect that you bring forward until now?
Oh, that's a tough one. I mean, like I mentioned earlier, what stood out from me was, it was a difficult. Back then, I thought it was a difficult period for me, because we had to balance quite a few things. But when you really enjoy doing the work, or if you're doing what you enjoy, then you always find a way. It's a lot easier that way. And at the same time, I think that period kind of helped me to already start managing my time better, and that definitely helped even to today, and when I started as a head coach, because you're just balancing time and managing time. Even though my wife would probably say I don't do so well, because I don't spend enough time at home,
Mm.
right? But in terms of when you're in the office, everybody needs your attention when you're a head coach. So ability to prioritize and deal with things is quite important.
Coach, from what we know, we understand that you were part of the NFA under 15. Am I correct?
Mm.
And you were teammates with Haris Harun,
Mm.
Izwan Mabud, and Coach Kade was your head coach during that
Mm.
time. Was there any moment during your growing up days when you see that your peers, especially Haris and Izwan, now in the national team, were there any moments that you felt like, oh, I could have been like them?
Not really. I could be like them because I knew my abilities.
Yeah.
I'm quite realistic like that. I'm like,
What position did you play last time?
Coach Cardiff played me everywhere. I could play playing full back, centre mid.
What was your favorite?
I don't know. As long as I got to play, I was, I wasn't too concerned about where I was playing. I just wanted to play because I enjoyed the game a lot, and just like every player, I think right now, like, given a choice, you just want to play. For the national team, it's always an honor. But it wasn't when they were succeeding. I was like, yeah, I wasn't surprised because they were good players. They were good players coming through. Even Afiq Yunus, Hafiz Sujat, Gabriel, those guys that from my batch, from the 14s, 15s, 16s, they've gone on and do very well. And so it was no surprise, and I was like, yeah, okay, they were very good players. That's why they're there, right? And it wasn't like, oh, I could have been there. No, I was realistic. I wasn't good enough to be there. Yeah.
Okay, Coach. We move on to your maybe youth years. You were very close with Coach Alex Weaver during his time at Warriors.
Yeah.
I think it was when was it? 2017, 2015?
No, 2014.
2014.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was the head coach, and then he called you to join you from the past reports, working without pay but gaining invaluable experience. Okay. So how did that opportunity actually came about, you and Alex Weaver?
Well, with this, yeah. So first and foremost, Alex is a mentor of mine, and he still is today. We still keep in touch quite often. But Alex is just one of many mentors that I have been very fortunate to cross paths with. Right? And this one in particular with Alex, at that point I think I was in a phase of my knowledge acquisition where I really wanted to know about periodization, right? And then he mentioned something in a newspaper about periodization, like in a quote, and I was like, oh, maybe he will know stuff, right? Because I was just searching online and research papers and stuff. Then it wasn't really giving me a lot of context. So I got his contact through a mutual friend. I shoot him an email. He replied.
Wow.
And then one thing led to the other. I was down observing a training, observed second training, third training, and then he asked if I would want to like intern with him almost. And just nice, NT also at that period I needed to do an internship in the later part. So yeah, one thing led to the other, and then I was an unpaid intern for quite a while, and yeah, I was very, very fortunate that he opened the doors for me, because without him then there wouldn't be me, along with many others.
There were also reports that mentioned that he even paid you Starbucks and also pastamania during that time. Actually, can you share more about that experience as well? What happened during that time?
Yeah, I mean, without going into too much details, like I said, I was an unpaid intern, so we often joke like he would pay me in Starbucks and pastamania, like because we would work in the office during the day, and then lunch we would just go for lunch at pastamania or Starbucks, or because we'll meet at Starbucks sometimes, because at that time Choa Chu Kang Stadium was being renovated, and so we were working in Woodland Stadium, and so there wasn't offices and stuff like that, so we would crash in Starbucks, and yeah, again, very fortunate. But I have to say that he played a very important part in that phase of the journey, but there were many people that opened the doors and helped me with that journey, right? So Alex really helped me in this phase where I often say, like, he showed me the direction, because I had a hunger for knowledge. He pointed me in a direction, like, go this way, go get your knowledge this way. And so he played a very important part in that. And then, like Harvey I mentioned earlier at JSSL, he gave me the platform to go experiment, to go be myself, and he didn't put any limits on me, and without him there wouldn't be me today as well. And then later on, again, very very fortunate, I had Desmond on, right, in my life. He gave me my first job at Tampines, and he gave me all that support to grow, to learn from the mistakes, and then building from there. And then most recently we have Coach Ogura, right? So I'm just a very very lucky man, to have met all these different people in the different phases of my life, to open the doors and guide me, support me. And so without them, then I wouldn't be anywhere near I am today.
As a young kid or young guy, taking a no pay job is actually something that not for everyone, but you did during the time. What actually pushes you to just take that opportunity and okay, never mind, there's no pay, I'll just go?
Yeah, to be fair, that was in university, right? And I was doing the internship or attachment kind of thing, but at the same time I was already coaching at JSSL. So, but again, just because I was coaching at JSSL doesn't mean they would allow me more time to go and do something else, right?
Yeah.
That's why I said I was very lucky to have Harvey's support, that he gave me his blessing, like go and do that, and then come for trainings and stuff like that. And so because there were conflicts naturally, in the schedules there will always be conflicts, but I had very kind people that helped me to deconflict, and so not to be in those stressful situations where you're caught in between kind of thing.
Moving on, you also known to be someone who not only will try to find opportunities, like you mentioned, you email Alex Weaver. Like, if most of us as fans or as aspiring coaches or young players, we won't do that, or not all of us have the guts to actually approach a coach and just ask him about an opportunity. But you are known as someone, you are known as someone who's ready to go all out and go to a certain extent to just find opportunities. And you even went to England and I heard Argentina for coaching opportunities. Can you share more about that experiences?
Yeah, I think that came in the 2015 onwards, where I was again in a phase where I was really, I really wondered what people were doing outside of Singapore, like what coaching was like. And so
these were during your uni days?
Yeah, maybe just when I just graduated, kind of thing. Yeah, probably just graduated when you have, but so I just wanted to know what people were doing, and so again, the first visit I was at was through Alex. Alex shared with me a contact he had in the UK, and I emailed him, and then so I ended up spending I think a week with Cardiff City under 23, and then I would spend about 2 weeks with Crew Alexander with their academy. So I just every day turn up, I just watch training, speak to the coaches, ask questions. And then then I after that, year on year, I was just trying to go to different places to see how people did things where they were, So Argentina, I spent a week there with my friend Naza. He was the under 23 coach at that time, so got to see and experience the lifestyle and their approach, their thinking in Argentina. Also Australia, I spent a week watching Perth Glory training, so that was quite nice. And then I ended up back in UK quite a bit again through connections, JSSL with Fulham, and then been to Brighton a little bit, Spurs training ground and academy training. So just trying to absorb as much as I could,
Wow, that effort that you put to just go overseas and find some coaching styles. Were there any moments that you feel that okay, finally it's fruitful from those experiences? Or maybe now as a coach, have you ever felt that all those experiences actually help you with your playing style?
The playing style,
or how the coaching style, your coaching style.
Yeah, well, I guess every experience will shape you in a certain way, right? You might go somewhere and you might think like, oh, that's new, maybe I can bring it back home. You might go and like, oh, I'm already doing that. Then that reinforces certain references that you already had from before. But at the same time, there will be things like, oh, I don't think I would do that because of this, or it's not applicable in our context. And so you always bring different things back home, and the style or the thinking that I have over the years have always changed, right? You're always evolving, and that comes from reflections based on what you've done. And so how I started is a lot different from where I am now. Because again, you're always reflecting, and then you're trying to see, how can I be better? How can I get better? And what did I do wrong? And from there, things always change. Things always evolve.
And also from your time at different countries, right? How did you actually live there? Because we know Argentina is like a place where we Asians rarely go to.
Yeah.
But UK we know lah. There are some Asians over there. But Argentina, how did you survive there?
Yeah, first and foremost, these trips are expensive, man. So I was working full time at JSSR, and the money at the time, okay, to be fair, as everybody has started, the money wasn't big or great, right?
Yeah.
So you're just saving those money. So I paid off my uni fees, and so whatever savings left I have from all the sessions I was doing, then I just put it into the trips. And in the UK, again, UK is not cheap.
Yeah.
Right. So I remember when I would rent an Airbnb, and then for meals I was just going to the Tesco and buying the £1 meals. That's the
Every day?
cheapest. Almost every day.
Wow.
And then if I was lucky, my friend would get me a meal at the club.
Oh.
At Fulham, they had meals, and so you get by like this.
£1 meal contains what?
Yeah, some salad, some chicken, and they have those savor meals kind of thing. £1 or £2 meals, I can't remember, but yeah. And then when I was freezing cold in the UK, I remember I'll treat myself to a hot Korean meal in a restaurant. So that was quite nice. I have fond memories of those. And then in Argentina, I was just lucky. My friend let me crash on his in his living room. So I slept in his living room for a week, and I just followed him around everywhere. Took the bus with him, and it's a nice experience. You get an insight to their lifestyle.
Yeah, how was it like over there? Like the football culture, their lifestyle.
In Argentina?
Yeah.
It was different, You go to a country where football is everything to them. You have players that will sleep at the club because they don't have money to take the bus home. You have players who the facilities aren't great, the pitch isn't great, but you have them every single day with 100% desire, because football can be the way out for them. And so when you see such deep meaning, such deep purpose in them, it was a big eye opener for me at that time, and it was like, wow, that this is what football can actually mean to human beings.
Oh, that's amazing. That passion, if we can have that in Singapore football, because we have compared to Argentina, for me lah, we have the facilities, we have all the equipments for the players. It's just that we need to instill the passion or the fire to light more fire in the players.
I mean, this conversation many people have had before, right? It's this is my take. I think it's difficult, or it's not fair sometimes to put the blame on players, because why? Players are humans. Humans are just a byproduct of the environment, right? And it is not their fault that they're born in Singapore, where things are a little bit different than in Argentina. Argentina, the players are just a consequence of everything is around. There's not much money and this and that, so football can bring them out. But in Singapore, it's different, right? You have more opportunities. You're in a safer country. You can potentially earn money through many different ways other than football. So to say that the players don't want it enough, like this country, this, it's not fair, because nobody chose to be more here. Then the question is, how can we facilitate that? How can we find ways to bridge that gap? If it's the most defining thing, right? Passion, like you said. So I think sometimes we need to look at it with less bias.
Yes, of course. With regards, you mentioned about players. You mentioned about the Singapore players, your coaching experiences. You know a lot of things about coaching. You went everywhere. Do you have what is your own coaching philosophy that you might want to share with us?
Okay, first thing is I wouldn't say I know a lot. Right. I don't think I know a lot. Because every time you study, every time you try to find new information, then you realize like, oh, I don't really know a lot. Right. So that you can never reach a point where you know a lot. You know, that there's just things that you know and then you just got to know it more and know it better so that you can do your job better. And with regards to what is it, the
Coaching philosophy.
I don't like the word philosophy because that's just too big a word, right? Ultimately, what guides my behaviors and when it comes to football, as a head coach now, one of the intentions are we want to play football in a way where the fans enjoy watching, and more importantly, we want to play a style of football where players enjoy playing. You know, we want to train in a manner where the players enjoy training. And I'm not saying enjoyment as the objective, there's no, but enjoyment, joy should be the byproduct of what we do, because that helps. Because why do we first started playing football? Because we enjoy it.
Yeah. Right.
The moment football becomes work, in a very harsh sense, then sometimes you lose that meaning. You lose the oversight of why we are in the game in the first place. Because like something like Hari said in the previous camp, which rang very true for me, is like why do we play football? Because if it's about the money, there are other things that you can do to get more money here in Singapore. But there must be a reason why we play football, right? And especially at the national team, right? So that deep meaning, that love for the game, that joy, something that we should never lose inside of us.
I think that's a very, very important point that you made, because we know that football is something that we can't really force it too much, in a sense, because from our conversations with former players, they want football to be played as it is. Like, they want the players to have fun. They don't want it to be too technical where, okay, you follow A, B, C. It's like you need to have also that element of letting them to play and letting them try their own.
To be fair, I understand what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
It's the thing that we often say, that players and humans, we are not robots.
Yes.
You cannot dictate what someone should do or will do, right? All we can do, like something I've said before. So it's comparing the words controlling and managing. We cannot control people.
Yes.
We can only manage the situation, manage individuals, and because on the pitch as well, they are the ones that perform the actions, not us from the outside. From the outside, what we can do to help the players are to possibly download concepts in their head so that they predict better on the pitch, so that they have less unconscious stress, so that they are more in the flow, as we say.
Correct.
And then they can perform stimulus response like that in the best way possible on the pitch, you know. So that is coaching ultimately. It's about giving the players the best tools to succeed on the pitch, and not tell them to do this or to do that. I mean, I cannot tell.
Let them play.
Yeah. Well, let them play on the extreme side can be chaotic as well.
Yes, correct.
Right?
Yeah.
Then what you have 11 players are doing what they want to do. And then that is a problem too. Right? So it's about understanding the reasons or the deeper context of how humans operate, and then giving them the best tools to go out there and perform in the way they want to do.
Okay, Coach, one last question before we end our first segment. Usually we hear players have their own pre-match rituals before going to the pitch.
Yep.
And routines. How about you, Coach? On your match day, before you step onto the pitch, what do you usually do?
Yeah. It's a tricky question, because when I first started, as a coach, even as a youth coach, and maybe some can relate to that, or some will relate to that. It's like when I didn't really understand how the brain operates, the human brain operates, or how the human brain is functioning. Again, I don't claim to know. I know a lot about the brain, but I know more than what I knew before, right? So when I didn't have the depth of knowledge as compared to now, then that's where superstitions can start to creep in, right?
Okay.
Then you start to become less logical, and then like players, okay, I must put my right boot first, and then left boot, and then shin pad first, and then I was a player once. I also had those things, right? But then after like the more you understand how the brain works and how things unfold, then you realize like there's no logic in this. And then when you try to do things that are illogical, then there are things that are outside of you. Like basically what you're trying to do is to control what you cannot control. Right?
Correct.
And then you're just giving yourself unnecessary stress. So but at the same time there is a purpose for routines, because routines allows you to stay unconscious. Because again, how do football players perform on the pitch? They are in football games, especially at highest level, you have no time to consciously have think, right? To have conscious thoughts. So it's a very unconscious stimulus response. And so you for that to happen, you need a calm brain state, because you know everything in your brain already, but you need that calmness to allow it to come out. It's like when we go for study exams, right? The more stressed we are, then we cannot remember what we memorize.
Of course.
So that's why sometimes it's good to stay calm, have some carbohydrates, glucose for the brain. And so for players, it's just to have that calm brain state, and routines will allow the players to remain calm, right? So it's not so much of for some might be a superstitious thing, but routines can actually serve benefits as long as you know where to draw the line. So same for the coach, right? You may have some routines that just so that you don't have to think about anything else, like, okay, I will do this, so that on game day you don't need to stress about a few things. But when I first started, because I didn't have all this understanding, a lot of understanding, then I was like, I must do this, I must do that, so that we can go and win. But it's like, don't make sense, man. But so after a while, you grow.
So what's your routine, coach?
Yeah, what, on a game day or?
Yeah, game day.
I wake up, I go to the gym. I like to go to the gym because it gives me dopamine. It allows me to have new pop-ups, new ideas. And then after that, prepare my attires for the day, and then focus on the presentations, the messages, then rehearse for it, because those are what's going to happen in team meeting. And then because again, you want to be the best version of yourself for the team in the team meeting, so you don't want to mess the messages up, or you don't want to give the wrong message. And so a lot of time is given to that. And then once you're done with most of the work, then go have coffee with Farah, often our assistant.
Okay.
And we go coffee, and that's how I get that calmness back, and just think about different things, and yeah.
Amazing, coach. Now we know the back, or how the behind the scenes of the coaching career, of how Coach Gavin actually starts his day, and also what made him now. And then we are done with segment 1, so we are going to continue with segment 2. Stay tuned to Kaki Bola Podcast.